Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Straw here at Pyramind, joined by Prisma Guitar owner and guitar builder extraordinaire Nick Pourfard, along with Brian Dale, our Director of Education, and Pyramind's resident guitar junkie. Man, we had the idea, we saw these guitars online, and I thought, man, it would be really cool to just bring you in the studio and lay down some tracks and really just hear how these things sound, because we all kind of fell in love with the way they look. And it's one thing to see them on the old interwebs, and it's another to like hold one and really get to hear how they sound. So we can't let all of you hold one out there in internet land, but at least we can let you guys hear what they sound like. So that was really the whole idea around this, was bringing you in, is to just get some good sounding tracks. And have him play through a variety of different styles, and you were kind enough to bring in a couple guitars. So thanks, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. So starting off, I mean, skateboards and guitars, two things that people are incredibly passionate about, right? Dedicate their whole lives to. What was the idea behind taking old skate decks and creating something so different and new with them?
It was just curiosity. I was interested in woodworking a lot, but I've never really done anything like that. I've done a lot of like construction type stuff, like building skate ramps, things like that. And I've been playing guitar for a while, like just as long as I've been skating. And from there, like turned into this thing where I was like, man, like this is gonna be a real project. I don't even know like where to begin, and like it would suck if I made something and it was like the same as like something I could buy in the store. I don't know. I wanted something unique, right?
Right.
You know, that was the whole thing. That's really what it was. I wanted something unique, and this was like my way of doing it. Like I passed by the stack of boards that were in the shed, me and my brother's boards from like when we were 12 to I was 18 or whatever. And I just started like drawing up plans and figuring it out. Like I didn't even get cutting or like working at all until maybe like a month or two after I had the idea. I was like working out of like a 6x6 shed, like in San Diego. So like literally like if I wanted to use one tool, I had to pick it up and put it on the table and set it up and then use it. And then when I was done, I had to put it back away and then get the other tool out. And it was actually like kind of like the worst thing ever. But I remember like cutting out the first body and looking at it and just thinking like, oh shit, this is actually gonna work. And then like from there, like it took me a while to realize like people actually thought they were really cool.
You've been at this not all that long though, right? When was the first one that you made?
Like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then when did you start selling them as Prisma?
A year ago.
A year ago. Okay, so that's what I thought I remembered. And a lot of people have the misconception that, you know, skateboard wood is kind of cheap, toss away plywood. And you've talked a little bit about how that's certainly not the case, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be building guitars out of these.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't think about it in the beginning, but like once I finished the first one, I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, like, since like, I mean, it is, I say in like a video I did that it was plywood, but that it's not plywood, but it kind of is. I just meant to say cheap plywood that, but they're hard rock maple veneers. Like I've done guitars where like when you start working it, like right in here, you know, you start to see like bird's eye.
And a guitar like this, it looks like you've got a top on it that's made from decks, and it looks like the back is not. Is that?
Yeah, so this is like kind of my way, mahogany, yeah, like African mahogany, my way of doing like kind of like a Les Paul thing. I have no control of like what it's gonna look like. I have no idea what it's gonna look like. It's hard to explain, but sometimes when you see like some color pattern come out, like where you get a lot of like, say you get a lot of like greens and like oranges and blues and things, like turquoise is a cool color, and you see that, like you got to really do something like special when you see like some color like that, because I feel like I don't see it very often.
So you'll start with a much bigger, as you're doing your process, cut of wood, and then as the finish kind of comes out and unearths itself, I guess I should say, you decide, okay, this is the body style I want to use on this one.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy. And so this seemed like the look of this one. Seems like a very different process than that, or is it simply just a different kind of viewpoint on a similar process?
Well, okay, so this would be like flat sawn in woodworking terms, and quarter sawn. You know, when you get like a quarter sawn neck, you can see it in here if you shine it right at the light. You see that, like, you know, wavy figure in the middle of the plies and stuff. That's like what this would be, but this is skateboard. So this is like a stack of, like, I don't know, this has got to be like 50 boards.
Yeah.
And then the neck is like also boards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, turn that around, because the neck on that's
really
very
beautiful.
cool.
This is like 10 boards.
So you press them all together in clamps, and it sits there forever, and then
Yeah,
you
this
make
is a
the neck
board.
out of it.
This is a board break right here. So you actually get to see like the snap board. Things like that are like really cool. I bet there's another board break right here. There's got to be another in here. There's a board break right there.
Even
That's
your inlays,
cool.
you've done your dots.
Yeah, I even did the dots as skateboard inlays, and then a mother pearl inlay triangle in the headstock.
And the body on this one is made out of what? The one you're holding?
Alder and
It's alder. Okay.
And alder, for those out there, is very, very traditional Strat material. Most old, really renowned Strats are alder. Some of them are ash, but most of the really key Strats were alder. And even today, most of them are alder. Ash Strats are a little heavier, but cool too. But alder's a really nice tone wood.
So you built a guitar, or actually a bass, for Steve Harris from Iron Maiden,
yeah.
right? How did that come about? That's super cool.
I went to a bar, like, and just was talking to this girl that was like a mutual friend of a friend of, like, you know, and like it was just like, you know, me and her were just talking, like drinking, and someone told her about the guitars, or she knew about it or something, and she like kept asking all these like really, really vague questions about like if like I could make her dad one, or like could you put his strings on it, blah blah blah. I'm like, what? Yes, strings. Like, who is this guy?
Right.
She didn't want to tell me even. She didn't tell me.
Huh.
But she did later, and it was like cool.
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
I'm gonna do this, and we made it for him, and he sent like the text that was like, he sent me like an autograph thing and stuff. It was like, yeah, like, thanks, it's super rad. Or that's not how he talks, but in my paraphrasing, he goes, yeah, dude, that's super rad, thank you. But like he said it in like Steve Harris way.
In Iron Maiden speak. That's fantastic. Oh man, that's great. So if somebody wants, you know, I've looked around your site a bunch, kind of prepping for you to come here, and it looks like you don't carry a lot of stock, because clearly these things take a while to make. And you said you're building quite a few right now for people, so you're doing more custom build to spec, but you don't really know what they're going to look like. So how does that work? Like, do they just
obviously
spec out a pickup setup that they want, and you go to town on the rest?
I let people pick everything except the colors, right? They don't pick their shape like of anything they want either. Like, I have a set of options. I have a set of shapes, a set of pickups, a set of like necks and whatever, like bridges, and like they can pick like what they want.
Okay.
That way. I don't carry a lot of stock because I literally just graduated from college like 2 months ago.
Right.
And it was like, I mean, imagine like trying to start your own company from the ground up, and like on top of that, you're doing all of the work to build it all.
In a 6x6 wood shop.
Well, not anymore. I'm not in a 6x6.
But
I'm still
right?
in a garage,
Okay.
but it's upgraded this much, and hopefully like soon it will upgrade even more to an actual shop. I mean, you'd be surprised when you go in there. It's like pretty cool looking. It's like a real wood shop.
So you're going to build up an inventory at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I had like a little one, but it's like it's very small now, and I'm doing a lot of custom things, like you said, and but at my house, I got like a good amount of builds going, so I hopefully will have an inventory, and I'm trying to go like to NAMM or something like this year. So I wanna have like a good amount of guitars. I wanna have like 15 at least, you know.
Yeah, that seems like
And how
a
do you
great
pick
place for you to go.
your body styles? Is this stuff that you're drawing from scratch? I mean, there's clearly influences of sort of some of the
What do you think this one is?
Well, they all have kind of a surfy thing going on to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I think surf and skate culture is super like intertwined,
very,
and like being from San Diego and being a skater and all that, like I don't know, that's like always the guitars I owned, and it's always like the music I've been into, and like, yeah, I don't know. That's just like the shapes that attract me. So this one would be like Rickenbacker inspired.
Sure.
Right? Do you see that?
Yeah, and it's a nice tailpiece too. This is kind of like what a lot of new PRSs are doing, where it's a wraparound stop, but you can also intonate it, which is nice, whereas a lot of the old ones are just bricks that you can't intonate. So that's a cool bridge on here too.
The shapes are kind of like getting tweaked day by day, like when I notice like things about them that like kind of bug me.
I think there's a demand for that too. People want kind of goofy oddball shapes. People have been seeing Strats and Les Pauls for so long that people like other stuff. So
I have stuff
that's
that's not offset. I have stuff that's like super symmetrical, and like people like aren't kind of like, the people are more used to it, I guess. It's not like so crazy. Not
more
crazy.
traditional.
More traditional. Sure. That's what I'm trying to say, right? But they are kind of all my own take on it. Like I just put it in Illustrator and like, you know, changed them up and drew them myself. I did one that I literally drew from scratch. Nice. And I call that the Accardo. And I literally drew it from scratch. And I like that one a lot.
So last thing on the builds before we just start listening to some of this, you started saying you're doing your own knob hardware now, right?
Yeah. So I'm pretty proud of this actually, because I can't really think of too many builders that are like machining. And we literally have a metal lathe in our wood shop, and we hand make these knobs from stainless steel round bar. So like,
and then you put the top,
and we put the skateboard top in it.
Super slick looking, and they're really solid construction.
Yeah, and stainless steel is kind of cool. Like I think, I mean, like in terms of like nickel or chrome or whatever, you know. So each knob takes like right now for us like 30-45 minutes. Wow. So it's like, this is like something new. Like we're getting better and better at it, but like I think they look pretty good so far. This is like the first two we made.
You know, it's kind of you're developing this as like your own icon looking. You know, as you move forward and develop this further and further, there's going to be things that really stand out across the room. I mean, the finish clearly, but then you get up close and all these little bits and pieces, like you said, the inlay on the headstock and everything else. Like it's just, you know, the attention to detail in these things is really just staggering, bro.
And the skate inlays and the fingerboard and all that. I mean, yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I think it's just more like all right, like if I'm gonna spend this much time on this and I'm like the only person like doing it like this, you know, like I'm gonna like try and every build, you know, I'm trying to like raise the bar, right?
Nice.
So like I'm like, okay, so what can I do that's like more intimate, or like, you know, and I actually don't, now my shopmate's gonna be mad at me. He makes these, not me. But he's the machinist. But it's cool, like, you know, like all of us together, we all have our own things, and we're all like working to like, how can we make this like more of 100% handmade thing? Like the pickups are handmade in San Francisco and in Canada.
You don't have any of them on these two guitars, but you also sell pickups on the site that have your skate deck overlay over. Whose pickups are those?
Tim McNally.
So those are Tim's.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about those, and then I promise I'll let you play.
So Tim McNally from day one was like, it would be cool to do a skateboard pickup. And I also had that idea, but I didn't know how to do that, because like it seems like foreign to me. But since he had all the stuff, it was like perfect. Like, so he sent you the spec of like, here's the wood piece I'll need in order to drop these into my pickup, or does he send you the pickups and you finish them at your spot? Right. How's it work? I will cut him the wood and send it to him, and he will like continually work it and put it into the pickup. So those are all going to be really unique looking too, because like all everything like you do, one of a kind, they're never going to be exactly so like the same. Literally like that's the coolest thing. It's like, and like even this way, like where you see the noses and tails come into here, right? I'm doing like other patterns right now, and just like you have no idea like how many options there are when the different ways you cut it, you know. So it's cool. Like we'll see what else I can come up with, but and those pickups are going to be on the on a bunch of new builds coming up soon too. Nice.
Pyramind is the premier center for training in music and audio production. Set in the heart of San Francisco, Pyramind is surrounded by some of the biggest and best innovators on the planet. Not only are we a cutting-edge production school, we're also an award-winning music and audio production company. Learn from the team that's delivering award-winning content to the world's largest companies, as well as current artists who play the biggest stages around the globe. Our community events put you in touch with the vibrant local music scene, as well as touring DJs and producers, workshops, internships, and guest lecturers. Because we know the more involved you are, the further you'll go. You'll also be steeped in a vibrant community of like-minded creatives. Learn and collaborate with fellow students from around the world and create a long-term professional network that you'll lean on throughout your career. We've taken great care to make our programs about you. Choose from powerful career-driven programs to genre-specific ones. Start small and get your feet wet, or build a custom program tailored towards your personal needs. If you can't make it to San Francisco, you can enroll in our acclaimed online classes, 24/7 access to high-quality video training modules, challenging projects, and live interactions and project feedback with your instructors. Experience what Pyramind can do for you. Tell us where you want to go in your career. We can help you get there.